Yes, guys, welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102. Let's get champed, part 8. Now, this is going to be an explosive one. Firstly, let me tell you, right, this is going to continue. We're probably going to have at least 1 or 2 more parts after this. But the reason this is going to be explosive is because I think after this one, we're going to start losing people. You can see the year then is the 11th of July 2038. We are all 31 years of age. We're all at the twilight of our career. So that's what's going to make this one quite as special. And then we've got a little competition towards the end that I need your help with. So, without further ado, let's crack on. 31 years of age. Let's start them in alphabetical order going backwards. Daniel Youngs. Mate, fucking joke. Absolute joke, Daniel Youngs. Terry Yorath, a fairly decent career for you, although you've ended up at Atalanta United, pretty much most of your time in France. Shane Wright is at Wolves. I'm not going to say ending at Wolves, but he's currently at Wolves. Yeah, Shane, you've still got 4 years left on your contract, actually, Shane, so we'll see. Ian Williams, an Evertonian, big move there. So Ian Williams finally came out of America. Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. He was in there for Orlando and LAFC. So, yeah, well done. Mark Whittaker finally got another move. Well, he left it late, didn't he? He finally got his move out of Russia to Sunderland. And here he is now at Stockport County. So, good stuff, Mark. Let's see where I Stockport. League One. Okay. Sam Wheatley. Sam Wheatley was Liverpool, weren't he? He got a move over to Cardiff City. It's a shame, really, because I thought he could have developed even better. And 8 caps for England, and it really does. It looks a dog's bollocks, really. I think it's fair to say. So it's it's quite interesting. On to the next one, Brad Welburn. Okay, Hull City doesn't look that great, does he? He hasn't actually done too bad, Brad. I mean, got the move to a Celtic for 1 season. Yeah, it wasn't anything jumping out the page. So, well done, Brad, nevertheless. Jon Somerson Wang, the Norwegian, is still in Norway. Unplayable league, and that's what bugs me. It was an unplayable league, so you're a disgrace. That's Wang out of the way. James Wallace at Feyenoord. In fairness, quite a good career for you, James. Very good career. Atalanta. I missed that before, actually, that you went to Italy for a little bit. Salernitana, yeah. So not too bad from you, James, at all. On to Trevor Choi. Trevor Choi ends up in Brazil with a move to Cruzeiro. Quite a very good career, I think, for Trevor Choi. I think he's done really well. Always in playable leagues, and I think give credit where it is due to Trevor Choi. Okay, Andy Vince. Andy Vince is still at Nottingham Forest. Yeah, as is. On to page 2 now then. Tobias Wernersson. Very good career for you, Tobias. Very prolific over at Atletico Madrid. Very prolific indeed. Didn't quite work well at Roma for you, but well done nevertheless. AJ Van Krondor at Hoffenheim. Now, very good season at Dusseldorf last season before. Started to do really well. And as you can see that by his average rating and his goals, he never really got the overall games he wanted, and I've got a feeling, if injury prone 14, let's have a look what that was. That's what's been crucial for AJ. He's had several injuries, but very good nevertheless, AJ. Thomas Tunnicliffe, a goalkeeper at Seattle. So you're in America now, yeah. Okay, not too bad, Thomas. Not too bad, not the sort of games you wanted. You'd have wanted more games. But, nevertheless, as is. Lee Truss. Now, Lee Truss, right. I'm going to speak more about Lee Truss afterwards when I've gone through everybody. But Lee Truss has been absolutely brilliant for Almeria. Now, Almeria, still at the top flight of Spain, La Liga. He's done absolutely brilliant. He's only been at 3 clubs. Well done, Lee. Dave Treasurer. From what I can gather, you've been a bit of a fucking bad boy, Dave. From the days you were at Rangers. You ended up at Cardiff City after a phenomenal season, a couple of seasons at Rangers. Your career just fell apart. It really did fall apart, Dave. You should be ashamed of yourself. Matt Tierney. Matt Tierney is at Middlesbrough. Yeah, not the greatest for you, Matt. Not the greatest at all for you. Liam Thompson. Liam Thompson's at Barnsley. Yeah, a couple of big moves. Indeed. Not too bad. Chris Thompson, Blackburn Rovers. After quite a stint at Portsmouth. Blackpool. Not too bad, Chris, but you could have done better. Simple as that. Chris Thomas, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Big move to West Ham. Before that, move to Wolves. Everton move, a bit of a flop. Atalanta was in non-playable league. Brentford, of course, for Chris Thompson. Peter Taylor, Chris Thomas, I meant. Ian Taylor, Luton Town. Yeah, very much a journeyman for you, Peter. Ili Stevkov finally breaks into the Macedonian international setup. And he's in Germany. Oops, and he's in Germany at the minute. Yeah, he went around a little bit. No, he's not. Oh, I thought they were a playable league, actually. I thought they were playable, but they're not, which makes a lot of difference. Makes a huge difference. Yeah, Illy, I expected more from you. I really did. So, you're a disgrace. Lee Sylvester, the Congo, Juventus striker. Got a Bosman move to Juventus from Fiorentina. It didn't actually do too bad at Fiorentina. The problem with Lee Sylvester, he didn't get the games, did he? When he did, he was performing. There's no doubt about that. Unlucky, but well done. His son, Hunter Sylvester, I don't even know who they are. A French second-tier side. Tough end to his career. Did all right for Celtic. Yeah, Hunter. There was a lot of potential, but you're a chip off the old block. Lee Sharples at Fulham. God, he looks fucking awful. He was at Everton, weren't he? Yeah, Lee Sharples, awful. Over to Shamdam. Yves Shamdam at Gillingham. Not a bad campaign last season. I mean, for Gillingham, the last 3 full seasons, he's actually done very, very well. What are you? Oh, you're League 2. Right, you've still got a few more years on your contract yet, Evesham. Dan Saunders. Then it's Dean Saunders there. Dan Saunders at Sunderland. Yeah, nothing special there from Dan Saunders. Mark Rutgers, the Ajax legend, became I can't call him a Fulham legend, can I? Because he was shit. Cardiff, again, another one at Cardiff. Ajax, there you go. Did really, really well at Ajax, Mark Rutgers. Well done. Pete Rudd, absolutely superb. 57 caps for England. Still worth £17.75 million. A big move to West Ham. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Rossandinho. Who are they? Brazilian second tier. Villanova. Didn't quite work out for you, did it, Ross? But you know what? It's been emotional for you. Jesper Rodman, Jesper Valencia. Still got a bit of value on him. Still looking very, very good, Jesper. Never really worked out at Barcelona, but you've got that move there. But you are back at Valencia after they sold you for 11 million and they've repurchased you for 18. So it's actually a very, very good career for you, indeed, Jesper. I think there's no doubt about it. On to Des Robertson, 39 caps for Scotland, playing for Bolton Wanderers after his move from LAFC. Well done, Des. On to Paul Roberts. Paul Roberts has been very much a journeyman. Blackburn Rovers, 1.4 after a move from Sunderland. I'll never forget you at Peterborough, to be honest with you, Paul. You'll always be a Peterborough legend for me. On to page number 4. Banana Rees, Brighton. Hasn't actually done too bad, Rees. Carl Rhodes is at Rangers. Not too bad, Carl. Not too bad. Did we miss that? Did I miss that? Real Madrid. You got to move to Real Madrid in 33. Actually had 15 games in the senior setup. Credit where it's due there. Redders. Redknapp has moved. Wow. Redknapp is at Lazio. A 5.25 million after a move to Newcastle. He was a hammer. He was Crystal Palace. Oh dear. Well, he's still got he's out of contract at the end of the year. Now, as I was saying about players could start retiring, it really depends again also on their contract. Redknapp could go, who knows. But well done, Redknapp. 25 caps for Wales. On to James Rattican at New York, non-playable. James, you've been a flop from the moment go. Dickhead. Right, okay. Huang Fat, what can I call you? Apart from you money grabber. Huang Fat, aka Tim Edwards, has been in Saudi Arabia his entire life. Non-playable leagues, and don't be fooled by that very, very convincing average rating. Panos, the Greek left back at Panathinaikos. Very good, to be honest with you. It's a shame he was a journeyman because actually had a good average rating, Panos. Daniel Osborne at New York after playing at Fulham. Yeah, not brilliant, was it? Not brilliant. Stu Murtagh is at Preston on loan from Cardiff. Had a stint at Liverpool, of course. Stu, yeah, you've been a flop. Your best season definitely came over at Swindon, 756. Bob Mole from the forums. Now plying his trade in the Swedish league with Norrköping. Is it Norrköping? In fairness, it's not actually done too bad, has he? When you see an average of over the 7 mark for several seasons, you have to really give some acknowledgement, I feel. Might have a shit value on him. And he's still got 18 months or so left on his contract for Adrian Mole's brother. Greg Miller is at Cardiff. Another one at Cardiff. We've got to look at that in a second, haven't we? Greg Miller, yeah, not the greatest for you. Matt Meikle, another one at Atalanta there, the right winger. Very, very convincing, Matt. A bit of a journeyman around here, as you can see. 3 moves in successive years, but really settled at Atalanta. Had a move to Milan, as we know. And 40 caps for Scotland. Well done, Matt. Liam McShane was loyal to West Ham, but he got his move to Liverpool. Now, that's a huge move for you, Liam, because I know what a fan you are of Liverpool, and now you're at Leicester. Unlucky. John McGrath, one of the only MLs in the game. I think there's 1 or 2. Sheffield Wednesday, John McGrath is the end of the road for you because you are out of contract also. Stephen Main is at Nantes. I don't know, actually, not too bad from you, Stephen. Again, very similar to some of the other guys. Not really didn't get the games that you really wanted and deserved, possibly. Gavin Martin over at Aston Villa. Good season last campaign after a move from Liverpool. Not too bad from you, Gavin. Not too bad. You still look pretty decent. You got good value there. 8 million is still a decent value at your age. How do you like that? Now to Paolo Marimo from the forums. And he's Roma. Well, give him credit here. Give this boy a cigar because he's done very, very well. Wasn't a very good spell at Milan. And I think give him a little bit of credit there. He's done very, very well. He's been very, very prolific. Had a bit of a tough start to his career, as you can see. Well done, Marimo. Over to from Madeira, aka John Betts, playing in Spain, 2nd tier. He ain't done too bad. He hasn't really had the sort of games. Where's that? Isn't that Greek? He hasn't really had the sort of games he'd have wanted. Yeah, well done, Mr. Betts. Over to Jamie Madden, Club Brugge. Was they? Yeah, they were pro. So it's done well, Jamie Madden. Take nothing away from Jamie Madden. They've all been playable leagues, and he's done really well. He's done well. Give him credit. Not as many games that he would have wanted. Rob Lloyd still looks a real fucking decent piece of work at Cardiff City. Another one at Cardiff City. Fuck me. Rob Lloyd, you're looking good, and you've still got a year and a half on your contract. Tell a lie, 2 years. Luke Langley, still at Seattle. Yeah, you're a fucking joke, Luke. You're a fucking joke and a disgrace. Andy Lakin is at Motherwell. Looking good, Andy, because Motherwell, of course, playable league, Scotland, and starting to get some performance in now. And I know I've said about we're at the peak of our careers now. Sorry, we're at the twilight of our careers, but from a goalkeeper's perspective, maybe you got a little bit more in you. Good luck, Andy. You can still do it. You are out of contract at the end of the season, though. I should pre-warn you. Talking of goalkeepers, Kev Kevchenko, who has had rather a bad career. He's currently in Russia. He's had a bit of a shit career. I think I'm never going to be able to look beyond that Burnley contract right there. Look at that. Now, Putin Yong-un, a.k.a. Annie, my wife, she has got a move to Legans. Now, that's probably her best move. After being stuck at Antwerp for so fucking long, she's at Legans. So, starting to prove a little bit more prolific. Only 1 year left on her contract. 40 caps for North Korea. Michael Jones, where's he playing? He's at a non-league of Denmark. So, Michael, well, we can't count it as gospel, can we? I'm sorry, we cannot count it as gospel. It's fair to say you've had a shit career as well, Michael. Over to Daz Jones. I know he didn't break into the Welsh squad, but that'll teach you, Daz, to stay in fucking America in that Farmers League over there, Darren. If that was playable, then you'd have had a very, very impressive write-up. But it's not, so it's tough shit for Daz Jones. Darren Bunga Johnson, Laurenti. Give Darren Johnson some credit here, because he was very prolific at Strasbourg. And I think he deserves a bit of a pat on the back. Didn't reach the heights he'd have wanted, I feel, maybe. But I think he'll be very, very pleased, Darren Johnson. He'll be pleased. Over to Gary Johnson. Now, at one point it looked so promising for Gary Johnson, particularly when he got his move to Rangers. Then he gets his move to Man United, and then it just all fell apart. He's now at Coventry City. Still got 3 years left on his contract. Looking bleak for you, Gary. Hands in the air from the forums is at Crystal Palace. A Bosman move over there. Very successful first season there. Only got 2 more years left on his contract, but still worth 8.25 million for our good old Hans. Got a brother called Legs, I think. Hornblower, Monza. Now, Hornblower, I mentioned before, look at that, how prolific has Hornblower been at Fiorentina. A move to Monza, and he has only got 2 years left on his contract, Hornblower. And I nearly missed him there, didn't I? Miguel Humphreys at Middlesbrough. Very, very loyal to Middlesbrough after moving from Arsenal, but generally, all-round shit. James Holyoake, Uruguayan, never really came out the blocks, did he, over at, in Brazil. He was late coming in, weren't he? But I think we need to give some acknowledgement here to James. He's been very, very consistent. It is a playable league, and he's been very, very consistent indeed. But didn't get his move, which is what I think is the biggest thing. Steve Hall! You could not script this shit, Steve Hall. After leaving PSV, after so many issues, to go to Milan, to Ajax, to Catanzaro, back to PSV. What can you say? He's out of contract at the end of the season. Steve Hall is back where he belongs at home. Matt Harvey is at Solihull. They're in the Championship. Fuck me. So, Matt Harvey, you're making history over there. You're 2 years left on your contract, Matt. And you're on a lot of money for such a little team, you greedy bastard. Gary Hanks, Go Ahead Eagles, still there. Very, very consistent, Gary. Not as consistent as you were when you were at Weymouth on non-playable. Well done. Matt Hamill in France. Very consistent, not the sort of games he wanted, but very consistent nevertheless. Justin was very loyal to Watford and Middlesbrough. A move to Leicester City for you, Justin, as you hit 31, aiming close to 32. Over to Kevin Gilmartin at Coventry City. Yeah, shit career for you, Kevin. It's fair to say. Fodster gets a move to Celtic. Didn't actually escape me. I knew he got a move to Everton. So, very, very loyal to Birmingham City. No doubt. Very consistent indeed, Fodster. A £22 million move to Everton, but now at Celtic. If you want an easy title challenge, go to Celtic. Good luck there in the end of your career, I think it's fair to say, Fodster. Pedro Fernandez is at Rennes. Again, a player that probably had a lot more potential to perform well. Never really got the game time he really wanted. He's still at Rennes. Bit of a tough time over there. Seyfans, a.k.a. Eben. Right, so Milan. What can you say, Eben? You're back at the big time. And going back to what I said before about goalkeepers, you've done very, very well in fairness, Eben. You've been very consistent. A little bit of a tough time at one point. What you got? You've still got 3 years left on your contract. You moved last year, though. You didn't get any games, and you're not needed, so it's not looking good for you, is it? Mike Evangelou is at Ajax. £18.5 million moved to Ajax. Very, very prolific at Ajax, following that move from Bolton. Very interesting then, Mr. Evangelou. Tony Dunn still haven't broken to the island setup, but you have left. Hang on a minute. Oh, so that's Valencia. That's Valencia B team. So you've moved then to Argentina, and you've actually so that's a new contract, 2-year deal. It's a new chance. It's a last chance saloon for you, Tony. Stefano Downsoni. So, Steve, you're at Lecce. You've just moved there after a move to Verona. You've actually been quite consistent, to be honest with you, Steve. Not the games that you'd have wanted, but give yourself credit. I mean, you've never had a bad season. Give yourself a cigar. You've done really well in the games that you've played. And I hope you do well in the end of your career. 2 years left on your contract. Theo Downs was once a real top shelf player. Value, I still got a good value, £7.5 million at Crystal Palace, but you should have left Crystal Palace. That's the bottom line. Well done, Steve. Not Steve, sorry. Well done, Theo. Spectral D'Souza is still at Besiktas. Non-playable league. Looks good, but it's non-playable, so I can't take it seriously. Spectral, you're an absolute disgrace. Over to Philippe Durala. Wants to be the next Cafu, but got to move back to Corinthians. Didn't get the games, did he? Did not get the games. He's got a good average rating in the games that he did play. But Philippe, it's been a pleasure. It really has. And I've already checked this next one, actually. Padraig has finally got out of Turkey. He finally gets a move away from Galatasaray after all them games that he played for them. Look at them all. One game over there. And he's got to move to Plymouth. An important first, a 5-year deal, let me add. It's one last chance of Padraig. Is it Padraig or Padraig? Padraig, sorry. Wow. Over to Matt Collier-Brown is at Ipswich Town. Good season last campaign, Matt. Nothing going on. Although you're on a lot of money though, 65 grand. We'll check the money in a moment for you. Ashley is over at Barnsley. Yeah, you're shit, Ashley. Michaelini Clarkson-Oni. Michael Clarkson is at Ajax. He had the world at his feet, didn't he? When he was at Man City, when Haaland left. Some big moves. Some huge moves for you, Michael. Chris Clark. Chris Clark is over in Brazil. And he's not had the games, has he? He's been around the block. Quite literally, he's been around the block at least 3 or 4 times. Ashton Clare's at Sunderland. Still looks relatively decent, Ashton. But he's not made it, has he? Right, let's see. Padover. Myself, I'm at Padover. Actually had a couple of good seasons myself at Padover last campaign. And, the few games I had at Fiorentina. What have I got left? Release clause. 2 years left on my deal. Over to John Chambers. John Chambers is at Cardiff City. He's been in Italy for a long time. But he gets a £6 million move to Cardiff City. And he's still got a nice contract remaining, 4 years. Over to Baz Chambers. Baz is at Sunderland. Yeah, not looking good, is it? Actually, it's starting to go down now. Bruno Carioca, if that's how you say it. You are still in Brazil. And you've not done too bad. The problem is, a lot of the players that are playing in South America don't do too bad overall average rating, but they don't get the games, even though it's one of the longest leagues in the world. But, Bruno, well done. Well done. Mark Brown is still in France. still in France. He came out, he went to Millwall, went back to France. Not the season he wanted. Was it Monaco earlier on? Yeah, not bad. Could have been a lot better, it's fair to say. For you, Mark. Craig Bothwell. Well, he was another one that really did have a big opportunity. He was at some big clubs, and he's been prolific, Craig. Well done, Craig. He did well. Boozer's at Genoa. Very prolific in the minimal games he's had. So that's Boozer. Over to Dave Birch. Well, he was one of the highest valued players for several parts, and he's currently in Manchester United now after a move from Chelsea. His best season's definitely coming 35-36. One more chance for you, Dave. Last chance. Oh, let me just read. So 4 caps for you for England. Jamie Baxter. I did read you are back in Scotland, Jamie. You are at the second tier of Scottish football at Falkirk. I like it. A little bit of a tough time for you when you ended up at Barrow. Jude Barnes is at Twente. Not the greatest career for you. William Anderson, you've just been in Australia all your life. Australia playable league, so I'm going to give you credit in all fairness, because it just wasn't a league that you wanted to stay in, but you've been very, very prolific. And finally, Alias. Alias is at Rotherham United. Not needed. Looks like you're going to go. Okay, so let's just have a quick gander at who's finishing as our... I say finishing, like I say, it's not the end of the road. So Pete Rudd is our highest valued man. Rees is at 975. Chris Thomas, hands in the air. Liam McShane, there you can see. And our lowest valued players, Jamie Baxter, Michael Jones, Wang, Kev Kevchenko, Andy Lakin. Wow. So we look at our basic wage. Lowest paid player at the moment, Michael Jones. A Minji, 625 quid a week. And the highest, Pete Rudd, 150 grand. Fuck me, I didn't realise that. Jeez, there's some big wages still going about. Really is. In terms of contract now, a lot of players out of contract at the end of the season. These guys are in danger that they might opt to retire. I have seen another player retire. 31, 32. I actually thought that they retired later, but we will see. So plenty players going at the end of the... that are going to be released. How many will we have from 100 players? Who knows? How many will we have? Let's have a quick look now then to... got to look at that Cardiff, haven't we? Because there seems to be fucking loads. 6 players at Cardiff. That is crazy. So the 6 players are John Chambers, Rob Lloyd, Greg Miller, Mark Rutgers, Dave Treasurer and Sam Wheatley are all at Cardiff. See who's also together. 2 at Leicester, 2 at Middlesbrough. That's Middlesbrough there, Mick Humphreys and Matt Tierney. 2 at Man United, Mark Bonnet and Dave Birch. I don't think there's anything more. 3 at Sunderland, Baz Chambers, Ashton Clare and Dan Saunders. And that is that. Now then, the next thing. This is important. This is so fucking important. This next bit. This is very important. I've checked the awards, right? And I've checked the awards and nobody won anything. So, I made my own. Right? I made my own. Now, I've taken a lot of things into account here. I really have. For example, the highest capped player that turned out was Tobias. Tobias finishes as the highest capped player. I've taken a lot of things into account. I've looked at everyone's history where I can. Some players just had a shocking history. So Tobias finishes the highest capped player. Pete Rudd, Steve Harl, Terry Orff, and the highest international goals was Fodster with Michael behind him. So Steve Harl, you didn't do it. So I've taken so much into account in my little awards ceremony. Okay, and I've tried to keep it as close to CM as possible. So the first thing I'm going to go to is I'll put a couple of extra awards in here. The first one I'm putting, as well as the ones that we get in Championship Manager, a Loyal Dog Award. Now, the Loyal Dog Award, right, I think that this was very important because I think this guy deserves it. He's been loyal from the moment go, and I've got to... You're all wondering who I'm going to go to now, aren't you? I felt that this guy deserved it. Tim Edwards, you deserve the loyal dog. Little bit of very much a joke award. It's a joke award because I've tried not to include people in non-playable leagues, but from a loyalty perspective, you've never left Al Ittihad, and I think you deserve it for your stubborn attitude of not wanting to leave and your money-grabbing attitude as well. 36 caps for Vietnam, well done. So that's the first one. The league joker, the predictions joker. This was a bit of a harsh one. I'm sorry I've got to do this, but you may work out who I'm going to go to for this. You probably have now if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm sorry. After retiring in season 3, he's... Oh my God! Oh my God, I didn't realise that! He's just retired! He retired from non-playing, so that makes it even more sweeter. I didn't realise that at all. Jeff Cowell, who retired from the game after 3 years, we put him back into the game as a 50-year-old. Oh, that is just fucking outrageous. You got sacked! Oh my God! Jeff got sacked as manager of Le Mans at the end of last season, spent a year unemployed and has just retired. Oh my God. That is just... You deserve that. That is fucking justice. Jeff, well done. You deserve that. You fucking deserve that. Okay, so we're going to start now then with one award. The first award goes to the African Player of Predictions. We'll call it Player of Predictions. Not predictions. Player of Fantasy Football. I meant to say Fantasy. And there was only one player that was African. There was only one player who come under African. Lee Sylvester, you are the African Player of the Game. No one's come second because there was nobody else. So, well done. Not the greatest career in the world, but we did already hit on this, didn't we? You actually did very well. And a total of 195 games, 36 goals, 55 assists. Well done. Over to... Waiting for you. I don't want to give nothing away as I'm clicking on stuff. But over to the Oceania Player of the Year. There was only one. Now, in all fairness, this was always going to go to Fodster because not only was he the only Oceania player, Australian, he deserved it. He really did deserve it. And I did write these down. 610 caps appearances, the most out of absolutely everyone. 101 players, 610 appearances, 178 goals, 65 assists, and an average rating of 7.22. And just to show you that right there. So, yeah, I know you might not feel that you've won it because there was nobody else, but fuck them. You win it. Simple as that. Okay. Now then, the next one. South American Player of the Game. Now, there was a few on this. There was a few, and I have picked one. I have picked one indeed. And I want you guys to contribute in something in a moment. I'm going to show you what I want you to contribute in a minute. These are the options, and my winner for South American is Lee Truss. I think Lee Truss, right, I've wrote these down, but we'll show you it anyway. 160 goals, 215 assists, 53 Man of the Match awards, 438 games, all in playable leagues, Argentina and America and Spain. He's done absolutely brilliant, and he is the South American Player of the Game. He was Argentine, so, you know, there was a lot of competition. Jesper Ronman, you came agonisingly close because you were second. You had Argentine as your second nationality, which you would have chosen. So you come agonising, and I did give it a lot of consideration, in all fairness. That was very, very difficult. I didn't make a top 3, I just made it the top 1. Okay, on to... We've got a few more awards now. We've got 4 more. Goalkeeper of the Game. We've got a winner and a runner-up. Now, again, you know, you guys might feel so-and-so deserves it, so-and-so deserves it. I've taken a lot into account, and I've given it to Trevor Choi. Very, very prolific. Very, very good indeed. 333 games, 414 against overall. 26 Man of the Match awards. Well done. Trevor, you are our winning goalkeeper of the year, of the game, sorry. And say fans, you are my chosen runner-up. Not the games you wanted in certain clubs, but deservedly, you get runners-up. So, that is that. Now, on to defence. Well, there's plenty of defenders. This was actually a two-horse race, I felt. This was definitely a two-horse race. There was a lot of defenders, but there was really only two that stuck out. I mean, Mark Bonney maybe was close up there, but in second place, and this was really tight between second and first. It was very, very difficult indeed. Second place, Tobias. I took a bit into account here. Tobias, 422 appearances, 16 goals, 22 assists. Very, very good indeed. You are runners-up. But our winner, I have just felt, has just edged it, is Pete Rudd. Pete Rudd has just edged it. Not as convincing on the overall, but the overall for Pete Rudd was actually 715. The overall for Tobias was 718. Pete Rudd accumulated 512 appearances with 10 assists, which I think is more impressive to get double digits assists than what it is for Tobias to have 16 goals. But it was a real close one. In my opinion, I put Pete Rudd as my winner. Congratulations. Over to midfielder. Now, this was difficult because a lot of forwards come as midfielders. I didn't want a forward to get it, if I'm honest with you. So I had to pick this very, very, very carefully indeed. So in runners-up, I have nominated Jamie Madden. Jamie Madden, we mentioned him, very, very prolific. Not the sort of games he wanted. He didn't make 200. But Jamie Madden, rightly so, you are the second placed best midfielder in the game. What we've done, 15 years, isn't it? 15 years. So well done. My chosen winner for the midfielder of the year. For me, this was probably an out-and-out winner. He was an out-and-out winner, and it is Hornblower. Hornblower, you are my chosen winner for midfielder of the game. Well done, mate. You deserve it. And forwards. Forwards now then, forward/strikers. Runners-up. Now this was a really difficult one. What's taken into account here? Goal ratio, how many moves, loyalty, that sort of stuff. And there might be a little bit of controversy on this, on what I went with. So I went with runners-up. Steve Hard. Steve Hard takes it, and there was a number of reasons I went for Steve Hard, because I think initially with Steve Hard, he couldn't have done any more. He could not have done any more at PSV, and I think that was just the game was really unfair to him. His moves are a little bit unfair. Steve Hard, you have won an award. It is runners-up on Forward of the Year. Might not be much, but it's something. And finally, the top place in Forward of the Year. You may have your own views. There was a few contenders. Michael Clarkson, you were a contender. Fodster, you were a contender. Dave Birch, you were a contender. But, I felt it had to go to Lee Truss. I felt, what he achieved on his statistics, he deserved it. He really did. He did an average of 7.36. Now, going back to the average, Steve Hart actually managed 7.51, but that was in half the games almost of what Lee. But Lee, I think, with the rest of his credentials, deserved it. So that is that. Now, I have one more award that I can't actually tell you the winner because I want you guys to give me your input. And on the next update, we will announce who the winner is. I would like a top three, ideally. The Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or. Now, who is your chosen Ballon d'Or? Because I think everyone has, everyone's participated. Some people, Jeff Cowell, he retired after 3 years and then retires from non-playing. That is almost a credential to make him a nomination. Everybody is a nomination. All 101 people are nominations here. Fodster, Oceania Player of the Game. Lee Sylvester, African Player of the Game. Lee Truss, South American Player of the Game and the Forward of the Game. Steve Hart, Jamie Madden, Hornblower, Tobias, Pete Rudd, Safans, Trevor Choi, Wang Fat, Terry Orif. They're ones I just wrote down that were, within highest cap players. Michael Clarkson was up there as well. They are, incidentally, Tobias, Pete Rudd, Steve Hart, Terry Orif, Michael Clarkson and Fodster were the 6 players that made half-century caps. So, you guys, let's just double check it. No, tell a lie, Craig Bothwell was there as well. It's been, there's a lot of players that deserve it. I mean, everybody has had, they've been around the block, haven't they? So many players have been around the block, but then you get the odd players like Wang Fat, who's been very, very loyal. There's a lot to take into account. Dave Birch has been at the top for a long time, but he's never really made it. So whether you're answering on Facebook, whether you're answering on the Championship Manager forums, on Discord, on YouTube, I just want from you, if you can, a statement as to who you think should be the Ballon d'Or winner. Ideally, just a winner. Just a winner. You can do it as a PM if you wish. You can even explain your reasons if you wish. I just want a winner so we can choose. I've got a rough idea of a top 3 in my head, but I want it to be you guys' decision collectively, almost, or through a voting system. We'll call it the Players' Chosen Ballon d'Or, if you want to call it that. I think there's a player that I've just mentioned that would probably make him a nomination, which is probably wrong, to be honest with you. So he probably don't deserve it. So fuck him. But I want you guys to give me your honest views. Who you think? What we have? We've had 15 seasons now. 15 seasons, and we've achieved so much. The next part, then, will we still see 100 players? It's probably going to be about 3 seasons that I go with, 3 or 4 seasons, the next one. The question is just going to beg, who will still be around? Well, we will see. We will see. And that's it from me, guys, in quite an explosive, so I can't get over that Le Mans thing there. That explosive part that we've just gone through. And until next time, where a few of you might not be with us, take it easy.